La 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 la, la la la. Inspired by true events, the greatest podcast to be broadcast into your brain.
Feel the rhythm.
Feel the rhyme.
Get on up.
It's podcast time.
Cool running.
Cool running.
Inspired by.
This is Inspired by Movies, the podcast where we talk about movies and the real events behind them. My name is MK. My pronouns are they, them.
Hi, my name is Courtney, or Cake, or Pancake, and my pronouns are she, they. Today I'm feeling she.
My name's Emily, and my pronouns are she, her.
Word up. This week we are talking about the movie Cool Runnings.
If you hadn't noticed.
And I picked this movie even before I realized that the Winter Olympics start next month. So, perfect timing. So we're going to be doing some Winter Olympic themed movies for the next couple of weeks or so.
I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get started, Courtney's going to give us a brief history on bobsledding. Take it away, Court.
Okay, today's history lesson. Okay, bobsledding facts. Bobsledding or bobsleighing is 2 or 4 people. The history is kind of funny. So, the first bobsleds were built in St. Moritz in Switzerland at the Palace Hotel. It was built by some bored, wealthy tourists.
Oh, okay.
They, so the Palace Hotel is like a really nice hotel, late 1800s, asshole rich people who took delivery boy sleighs and put multiple people on the sleigh and went down hills, you know. And then they started going into the streets. They were colliding into things too much.
Oh, God.
So it was outlawed. And then eventually the owner of the hotel made a course somewhere else. And and then it just kind of blew up from there. So it earned its name after competitors adopted a technique of bobbing back and forth to build speed.
Oh, okay.
In 1923, it became internationally recognized, and the first Olympic Winter Games that it was in 1924. I looked up the pronunciation of this last night, and I'm gonna fuck it up. Chamonix, France.
That sounds
I'm
about
I don't
right.
know. You're
Yeah.
looking at me.
So, competitions have been held yearly since 1931 in 2-person and 4-person, except for during World War II, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, women have always participated in bobsledding. They've always been involved. They've always been involved in bobsledding. Not until the 1990s were they allowed to compete.
Gotcha.
And the women's 2-person bobsled debut in this is kind of sad, actually. There wasn't a women's bobsled team until the 2002 Olympics.
Oh, wow.
As far as competing in the Olympics. Also, cool fact about that, USA won with a gold medal. It was Jill Bakken and Vonetta Flowers. And Vonetta Flowers was the first black athlete to win gold at a Winter Games.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. The hotel owner that built the course built it in 1884, and it's still the oldest in the world and hosted the Olympics twice. So I thought that was kind of a fun fact. In the 1960 games in Squaw Valley, they didn't have bobsledding because they needed to cut costs. They didn't want to build the run. Let's see. So I looked up the different types of bobsledding. There's the luge, which is 1 or 2 people facing up and feet first. The skeleton is 1 person face down head first. No,
that sounds
thank you.
terrifying.
Watching that is insane.
Yeah.
Like, they go so fast.
Fast.
Yeah.
You get in a crash, and my mom went and did the bobsledding, like the 4-person, and she says that the G-force is so intense that it made her pee.
Oh, that's
like fully
horrifying.
like
God.
Sanja.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
Zowie.
So there is also obviously the regular sledding, which the Britons say sledge, not sledding. They say sledging. And if you do it on the sand, it's called sandboarding.
What is it?
Sandboarding.
Sandboarding.
Yeah. Let's see. The monobob is a sleigh for those who can't push themselves, and it's a one person. And evidently it was added to the 2022 Olympics to have equal number of men and women bobsled events.
Okay.
Which, I don't know, that's kind of interesting. Also, there is a definition in Urban Dictionary on what bobsledding is.
Oh, no.
Lay it on us.
Just
Is
tell
it
us.
naughty?
Just tell
I want to know.
I'm quoting it word for word.
You better be.
Yes. It says, the act of laying the erect penis along the butt crack and essentially titty banging the butt cheeks. This takes place until ejaculation, resulting in a winter wonderland.
Oh,
Face, okay.
my God.
Okay, so
I love Urban Dictionary so much.
Oh.
Let's see. So,
Oh my God. I don't even have any words. No words.
It's a lot.
So my sources were Britannica, Wikipedia, the IBSF website, which is the International Bobsleigh and Skeleton Federation, and Urban Dictionary. And that's my quick facts about bobsledding, sleighing,
Nice.
or sledging.
Sledging. It's funny, like anything I was looking at in bobsledding, it was bobsleigh
Mm-hmm.
and not bobsled. So I'm like,
Huh.
yeah, like all the articles, only a few other articles, they were spelling it as bobsleigh. But whatever, I'm gonna call it bobsled because that's all I know.
Well,
I'm a creature of habit.
That's what they call it in the movie anyways. So.
Yeah. Let's get down to it. All right. Cool Runnings. It's made in 1993 about the first Jamaican bobsled team that competed in the 1988 Winter Olympics.
Should we introduce the actors with the...
Yep.
I have it right here.
You do.
I
All
have
right.
it too.
Yeah. Introduce.
Okay, so the Cool Runnings cast, Irv is played by John Candy, Doris Bannock is played by Leon, Sanka is played by Doug E. Doug, Junior is played by Raleigh D. Lewis, Yul Brenna is played by Malik Yoba, and Joy Bannock is played by Bertina McCulley.
Nice. Sweet. So the movie opens with the camera panning over Jamaican landscape, and it cuts to a guy setting up to run a race. We find out it's Doris Bannock, and he has like a makeshift 100-meter race. And the kids are all excited, and they're like holding the toilet paper, and he like runs through. He continues his jog throughout town. That's the opening credits, is this jogging montage. So he's running through town, and everyone's just kind of like talking at him. He's training for the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, as a sprinter. And his dad was in the Olympics. He was a gold medalist.
And a record holder.
And and a record holder. So he is following in his dad's footsteps. And he sees these two ladies that he knows, and they're like, you better represent us in the Olympics. And as he's running away, one of them was like, I could watch that backside all day.
Handsome as a lion, that one. Isn't that his mom? Or is it his mother-in-law?
I
have no idea.
It didn't really say. Maybe. I didn't catch that, but I had Noonie.
Noonie was helping. Such a good helper.
It cuts to a banner of pushcart derby finals, November 1987 in Kingston, Jamaica. That's where we meet Sanka Coffee. He's Doris's BFF, I wrote, and his pushcart says Ross to Rocket. And he's got like a bunch of kids like helping him. And then he's like, all right, let's sing the song. And he's like, 1, 2, 3. Boop. Who's the captain of our crew? Who's a friend to me and you? Kinda nice, good looking too. Sanka, Sanka, yeah, Sanka.
That was beautiful.
And then you hear Doris off camera. Who's the big bag of hot air? Who doesn't have to comb his hair? Who doesn't bathe and doesn't care? Sanka, Sanka, Sanka. Sanka's really funny with the kids, just yelling at them, go back to work. And the kids talk to Doris about the Olympics. One of them says that my grandpa says that I think essentially they're saying you're going to do better. His dad. They line up to start the race, and that's where we meet the lucky egg.
Yes.
Sanka's lucky egg, and he kisses it. And they're off. And they're going down the hill. Is someone in the back pushing and driving, and then in the front you have someone like leaning towards the front of the cart to make it go faster. And so it looks like they have like all little kids in the front. And Sanka's passing everyone, and he yells, I love Jamaica, and
Jamaica loves me.
And he's about to win, but then he runs off the road and crashes into a shed. But before that, I love how he just like throws the child
Yes.
off and then he crashes into the shed, and Doris is like, Sanka, you dead? And Sanka's like, yeah, man.
Wait, am I saying that right? Is it Sanka or Sanka?
They say Sanka, but then John Candy says Sanka.
Okay. I think it's like either or.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been saying Sanka too, just because of the actual coffee brand.
Maybe that's why he says it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he just knows the coffee.
That's very likely.
So we could say it either way.
I mean, the character's name is Sanka Coffee.
Coffee.
So it's
Sanka
hard
coffee.
not to make that connection.
Right. Sanka. Sanka. I don't know. Either or. If we're saying it all the way wrong, let us know. You know.
I was also, while you were messing with the audio, I was looking up information about the brand Sanka Coffee. And the reason it's called Sanka is actually a shortened version of the French phrase for without caffeine. So it is sans caffeine. So I guess it would make sense that it would be Sanka. Maybe it is Sanka.
What?
Because
Wait, okay, so it's saying that it's decaf?
Yeah, Sanka's an entire brand of instant decaf coffee.
Why? What's the point?
I don't know. It's like
decaf?
both of the worst things about coffee.
Ugh.
That, like, instant
Who,
decaf coffee.
I was actually talking to Courtney about this, but who drinks coffee just for the taste?
You know, my grandpa would get decaf after meals, like with his dessert, and
Coffee and dessert. You can't
coffee
really
and
go wrong.
dessert, yeah.
Yeah, but
Also, it keeps you regular.
that's true.
That's very true.
Yeah, so maybe
Well-
people do it as a dietary choice.
I don't know. Me and my stomach have a complicated relationship with
yes.
coffee, so. Then it cuts to Doris getting ready for another run. And he's talking to his wife. She's like, you'll never be able to grade your papers. And he's basically like, I don't care. I've been waiting for this my whole life. He's just like, I can't believe it's here. And he's like, the wife asks, like, what if you they'll make it or something. He's like,
I don't care how much they want it. I want it more. It's my turn.
When she's like, are you nervous? He's like, I'm not nervous. I'm ready. And then they talk for a little bit, and she's like, are you nervous? And he's like, I'm terrified.
Oh,
That's
I'm
cute.
scared. Then we're at the Olympic trial, the 100-meter race, and the first 4 finishers will qualify. And that we don't know his name yet, but Sanka calls him Baldy.
Big Baldy.
Yeah, he's like getting himself all amped up and like hitting his head. We also meet Junior, and he's super friendly, talking to Doris, basically saying it'll be an honor if we are on the same team. He tries to be nice to Baldy, but Baldy is big, intimidating. He's got a lot of anger or just energy inside him.
He's clearly not interested in having any sort of like relationship with any potential teammates or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, he comes off as scary, especially to Junior. So they go.
I identify a lot with Junior at like roller derby bouts. I'm always like, hey, hope you do a good job.
Go roller derby.
Yeah, I'm just that little guy who's like, happy to be here.
Right, yeah. You know, that actor's like shape of his head is
interesting.
Yeah, it's like square.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I noticed that too. I was like,
Okay. Like,
is it his hair?
I don't know.
His hair
is shaped that way, kind of.
It seems like
Maybe it's his hair.
Yeah, like I thought he just had like a flat top.
I don't know. But anyways, in the movie it's weird.
That shit. Google it.
Google it. Yeah.
I mean, I have so many cool runnings tabs open on my.
Oh God! Right.
It's kind of his head. It was actually called Rasta Rocket in France.
Ooh.
Not Cool Runnings.
Oh.
Yes. See, like his head is kind of
Oh wow.
square. Yeah. Maybe it's his hairline.
Yeah. Something about it. I mean, it's not bad. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
I've been watching this movie since I was a kid. Like, I always kind of was like, huh. But, yeah, the race starts. Everything's going good. It looks like Doris is pulling ahead. And I wrote, then, long squiggly line. Junior falls and trips Doris and Baldy. They don't finish. But here's what I don't understand. So the guy says the first 4 finishers will qualify. People who finished, there was only 3 of them. I only saw 3.
Yeah.
So one of them could have gotten up and finished, but also I don't know if it's because it's like you fell all the way down.
Yeah. Are
Like,
you disqualified if you fall?
That probably, or
It's weird because in ice skating,
yeah,
if you fall, you get a reskate.
yeah.
So
I don't know if it was. You can't. I guess we should have looked into that. But I found that confusing that there was only 3 that finished. I'm like, I guess one of them could have, but probably not. I don't know. Hollywood, am I right? So then it cuts to Doris talking to Barrington Coolidge. He's the president of the Jamaican Olympic Committee, and he's wanting a retrial.
I'm glad you said that because I have in my notes, I'm like, who is this dude?
Yeah, he's president.
Okay, thank you.
Who is this dude? Yeah, he's the guy that does all the Olympic coordinating. Coolidge says to him, no, you can't. I'm sorry. And he's like, practice your boxing or cycling because that's the only other sports Jamaica competes in. And he's like, I'm not a boxer, I'm not a cycler, I'm a sprinter, I'm a runner. And he's looking at pictures on Calvin Coolidge. What the hell is that?
A president?
Yeah.
Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge. Barrington. I'll call him Barrington since that's his first name. So he's looking at a bunch of pictures that Barrington has on his wall, and he sees one of his dad. Then there's another one of his dad and another guy standing next to him, and it turns out to be Irving Blitzer, who's played by John Candy. He's an American that lives in Jamaica, and I wrote gold medalist arrow bookie. And he was a bobsledder. He was a gold medalist bobsledder. And he had this idea of sprinters becoming bobsledders, because to push the sled off, he could be faster. And he tried to convince his Doris's dad to join, but he didn't. And it just kind of fizzled. We don't know yet, but something happened with Irv. And he kind of just, Barrington was like, if he's not shot or arrested, he'll be hanging out at this bar. He's a bookie,
I'd put, Doris gets bobsled idea. One more thing. What's a bobsled?
I literally just read that. And then it cuts to Doris like kicking the wheels off of Sanka's pushcart. And he's like, this is a bobsled. Sanka takes the textbook that Doris was holding and starts reading it. And he's like, pushes off the ice. He's like, no ice. He's like, as snow, as you mean winter, as in snow, as in ice. Like he just kept going back to the ice. He's like, I want to take off that, just thinking about all the ice. And when I watched this as a kid, I was like, that just sounds so hot. But I'm like, oh, I guess that they're used to that, but still. So he's trying to convince Sanka to be on his team, and Sanka's like, all you have to do is say, Sanka, you're my best friend. We've been through a whole heap together, and I really need you. And Doris says, you're right, Sanka, you are my best friend. We've been through a whole lot. And Sanka's like, heap together, and I really need you. And Sanka's like, no. But then it's a joke, and Sanka and Doris head off to the bar to find Irving Blitzer. And Sanka, as they're driving over there, Sanka keeps calling it a bill sled.
Yeah, I wrote down bill sled.
Bill sled. So then we see Irv, and he's listening to a horse race. He put money on Tumbleweed, and Tumbleweed loses, and he picks up the pool cue and smashes the radio. And of course that kind of puts Doris and Sanka off, but they approach him anyways and ask about if he'll coach him. And they're first talking to him, and he's saying nothing. And then he gets up and grabs another pool cue. And Sanka's like, stick, radio, stick. And then they run off. He ends up just playing pool. But then there's a whole montage of both Sanka and Doris trying to convince him. They are up in the window, and he hits the shade down. They're in the bathroom, and the bathroom's my favorite because he opens his stall, and they're just
hello,
hands on their knees, just smiling. But yeah, Irv doesn't want anything to do with it. He hates bobsledding. Bill sledding.
Blobsledding. I like that better.
Bobsledding. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be around it. And I don't want to be 2,000 miles close to anyone who does want to do it. So there's that.
They're going to keep trying every day.
That's right. Doris is persistent. He doesn't know the meaning of give up. And then he's like, I'm Ben Bannock's son, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, Ben Bannock can run the 100 meters in 10 flat. I've never seen that before. And Doris is like, I run it in 9.9.
Yeah, buddy.
So I think that little heart-to-heart about the dad convinced Irv to start coaching them.
He also says, the Olympics are in 3 months, and there's no snow, and there's no me. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they have that sweet little moment.
And he's like, fine, I'll coach you. They hold a big recruitment meeting, and Irv intros bobsledding with a video.
I noted that when he first starts the presentation, he said, bobsledding is a simple thing. And somebody shouts out, yeah, so is a toilet.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. You could tell he's wanting... he's just very lazily, he's like, the goal of bobsledding is getting from the top of an icy mountain to the bottom. You're zigging, you're zagging. It's the biggest, iciest roller coaster you've ever been on. And then it starts to show a bunch of crash footage, and he's like, ooh, like totally trying to scare him.
Mm-hmm.
And
your bones don't break in a bobsled crash. No, they shatter.
Oh, yes.
And they're just like, and then at the end of the video it says, crash kills bobsledder. It shows the room. It's empty except for Sanka, who is operating the projector. So they're like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And then Baldy walks in. We find out that his name is Yul Brenner. And he doesn't care about the dangers of bobsledding. He just wants a way to get off the island. And if that's the way he has to do it, then that's the way he has to do it. Junior walks in, and Yul goes after him. He's like, fuck this guy, and Dries is like, well, he tripped me too, but we need him. And then
I have it down that, like, Junior's talking to him, and he makes a point to say to Junior, like, we might be on the same team, but we're not teammates.
And Aaron's like, okay. I love how, like, well, you're here, so okay.
Yeah. And he also makes it a very big point that the only reason why he wants to be in the Olympics is to get off the island.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I don't care about it. I just want to get off this island. I feel bad for Junior because having to carry that weight on him, knowing that he knows how hard they trained because he was training as equally as hard.
Just to be the reason that they were disqualified from the Olympics, it's got to be so much guilt.
And he's just like a little, very quiet and submissive in a way. He gets more confidence later. And he's talking, Yul is like talking shit to Junior, and then Sanka's like, he says something, I can't remember what he says. And Yul's like, how about I beat your butt? And Sanka's like, how about I draw a line down your head and so your head looks like a butt?
I forgot about
So then it does a nice little training montage. Irv is talking about the push start. That's the most important thing. It's most, like, top-notch teams will push off in, like, 5.7 seconds. But he says if we can't do this in 6 seconds, we shouldn't even be here. So they've got this, like,
in this rust bucket.
They introduce it, so Yul's gonna be the second middleman. Junior's gonna be the first middleman. Sanka's gonna be the brakeman, but he fights Irv on that, and then Irv is like, no, this is what you have to do. And then he's like, no, Dries can be the driver.
I made a note that Junior is Yul's little spoon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so funny.
So sweet.
It's so funny because he's like, I'm not riding in the same sled as that man, and he, like, has to get in, right? And Yul's like, has this look on his face like, God damn it.
Junior is getting ready to tell his father that he's going to be a bobsledder.
He, like, says this whole speech, and then he's like, what do you think? And it's just this hound dog.
No.
So sweet. But he gets on the phone with his father, and was he on the phone? Or was he in real life?
No, he was in real life. His dad drives up. That's like, right. I've got some news for you.
There you go. He tells Junior that he's got him a job at this law firm.
Webster and Cohen.
There you go. And that he's glad that all of this track nonsense, quote unquote, is over with.
Yeah. His dad is not supportive at all.
No. That's an understatement.
Yeah, and Webster and Cohen is in Miami, so he would have had to move to Miami.
Time to get on with your real future, is what his dad says.
Yeah.
Fucking dad.
And then that's when it cuts to
practice time.
More practicing. Then it's like I wrote silly montage of training with rickety wagons. So they're trying to they're like going down a hill. which I guess makes sense, but it's just like really rocky. It's like the backside of a mountain, basically. And then they're pushing and then trying to hop in.
Not a good time.
Yeah, not like crashing a lot. And then, there's like a whole montage of them doing things. Like Irv is talking about building up, a tolerance to the cold. And they're like eating ice cream. And he like opens up the door and Sanka's in there. Freezing, and he like
in the back of an ice cream truck.
He like snaps off one of his dreads. At the end of the montage, push off, and it looks really good. And they're going down, but they crash into a cop car. Mm-hmm. And the cops like, they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" They're like, "We're a bobsled team," and they just start laughing at him. Then Irv runs down, and he's like, "You guys got it in 5'9", 5'9".
Sanka, you dead?
Yeah. I just love that it's a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sanka, you dead?
Like, yeah, man.
Yeah. But they did finally all get into the sled, which they could not do before.
Yeah, they killed it. The only thing bad that they did was crash into the cop car.
Because the brakes break.
Yeah. 5.9 seconds.
Woo!
Yeah. So then it cuts to Irv trying to get money from the Olympic Committee to send them to Canada, but they're not going for it. One of the guys says to Irv, like, "You've already embarrassed your own country. Like, please don't embarrass ours." And we're like, what did he do? Raising money montage. Some people say, you can't believe Jamaica has a bobsled team. It cuts to that. Sanka singing that in the street. Doris is going to different lenders to see if he can get a sponsor. Yule is arm wrestling. And then there's a kissing booth. Also, did Doris not tell his wife about this? Because he's like kissing a girl.
Just straight up macking.
Yeah, and then he's like, dazed.
Twitter paid it.
Yeah, Twitter paid it, and he opens his eyes, and his wife is, she's crossing her arms.
She mad.
I'm like, did he not tell her?
Obviously not.
Yeah. I would be like, what the fuck, Richard? Dick move, bro. So they're counting their money, and that's when Junior comes in with money, because he sold his car.
Stacks of cash.
Stacks and sticks.
I put bag of dollar signs.
Cash money. And then Doris tries to decline, but Junior's like, "Hey, if it wasn't for me, we would be going to the Olympics. So let me do this." Doris's wife is like, what does your dad think about this? He's like, "My dad doesn't know. He thinks I'm going to Miami, and then I loan my car to a friend."
I put at the start of this next scene, quote, MK says, "Off to Canada!"
To Canada. I wrote it down.
You wrote
it down.
Off to Canada, fucking blizzard.
I said, the guys aren't really feeling the cold.
When they're walking out of the airport and it's a blizzard and they're just standing there, Courtney mentioned, she was like, "This is what it was like for me when I moved to Utah from California."
Oh.
I had never lived in snow more than 2 weeks at a time. Because my dad lived in Colorado for a second, and I spent a winter break with him or something like that. Okay. And so when I moved to Utah, and it was the first winter, my God, I
just didn't know what to do with yourself.
I was not well. I was in a major depression. I remember filming the snow falling for the first time that I saw it. But yeah, there was never enough layers for me. Now I have, what is that, climatized. Yeah. But yeah, that first winter, that was fucking rough.
Oh yeah. Devin Harris, he was one of the OG bobsledders on the team. And he said that when he met the snow for the first time, it punched him in the face and him in the heart. Anyways, so Sanka runs back in and puts all of his clothes on, and gets inside his duffel bag as well. And Therese looks at Sanka. He's like, Sanka, what you smoking?
I'm not smoking, I'm breathing.
And Courtney pointed out that it's like, what you smoking? You know?
Yeah. Cigarettes or the good?
And then, so they're waiting for the bus, and they get on the bus, and Irv is like, what are you guys, cool? And then as he's walking on the bus, he's like, it's not so much the heat, it's the humidity.
Like the most standard white guy response about weather.
Well, it's so funny, too, because coming from back east, like coming from Pennsylvania, like moving out here, we got so many blankets before we moved. Like, people were just like, you're moving to Colorado, it's gonna be so cold.
It's
Here's
a dry
the point.
cold.
Yeah, it's a dry, it's a dry heat.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a sentence that, like, your white guy next door neighbor in, like, jean shorts says a lot. But
have you seen that sky today? Talk about blue.
talk about blue. It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
Sorry.
Okay. So they get some proper snow gear, and Irv goes to register this team for the trials. The qualifying timing, too, is 1 minute, 2 seconds flat or under.
The qualifying time.
Yeah. What did I say?
Qualifying?
Oh, yes.
Qualifying time. Oh my god.
I'm like,
in
something close
one
to
of
it.
the episodes where I'm talking about Alexa, I was like trying to say potentially, but it came out like as potentially or something weird, and I was like, and I didn't fix that. I didn't notice that I did that. So.
I didn't notice it.
No. I'm
Words are
sorry
hard,
I brought it
okay? And then
Oh, hi.
Are you coming to join us?
Meow.
Oh, the scream.
Ow.
Pumpkin, come here.
Come here, George Squashington.
Oh,
Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles.
Julie Andrews.
Ow.
Why the screaming? Why does it always have to be screaming? Why is it? I know, Oliver, you want to be his friend so bad.
As he's like,
You're okay.
Oh, he's
what's
like,
up, pumpkin
I'm laying
face?
down.
Irv registers the team, and as he's walking out, he sees old friends. I can't remember. I know that one's name is Kurt. Roger. Well, the one that's pissed, like that walks away, doesn't even say a word to him. His name's Kurt, because I called him throughout my notes Kurt the fuck. Because he's just a dick. I mean, but yeah, and then one of his friends is like, Jesus Christ, what did you do to yourself? And then Roger, the only one that's like, hey man, like, how you doing? Irv asks to meet Roger in a restaurant, and they meet. Irv asks Roger if he has a sled he could buy for $5,000. And he's like, there's nothing. And finally Roger says, I'll see what I can find. We may have a practice sled running around. Roger asks Irv, like, do you really think that they're going to qualify? He's like, not only are they going to qualify, they're going to turn some heads doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then he's saying, like, 3 of these guys can run the 100 meters in 9.9. And Roger says, yeah, but can they run on ice? Mm-hmm. Then it cuts to them in a big ice rink trying to run on ice.
Are they wearing those, like, special shoes at that point? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because someone, I can't remember which one, but they were like, these special shoes don't do shit. I mean, obviously they didn't do shit. I am paraphrasing.
Yeah, this Disney film. They don't do shit.
And Irv is just standing there like
laughing at him.
I made a note saying that he looks like he has the same costume on as Home Alone.
Yes.
Or Home Alone? Uncle Buck?
No. Well, I mean, maybe Uncle Buck too. But yeah, he's in the polka
he's the
band.
polka guy.
I've never seen Home Alone, but I know what you're talking
What the
about. Don't
fuck,
you know
Richard?
this? I've told you. You didn't know, though.
Home Alone, when he's on the the polka team or
Yeah. I
polka group.
got Uncle Buck vibes.
Yeah. Either way, I feel like he always just plays the same guy.
He does, he does.
More or less.
I love how, even though Yule, is it Yule?
Yeah.
Yule, he hates Junior. Like, when they're on the ice, like, Junior's, like, holding onto his shirt. He's like, look how good I'm doing. It's just like they're always together.
It really is quite precious.
Yeah, it's so cute. Then Irv is like, practice starts, and they're like, what practice? And the Russian hockey team comes out. They're, like, skating around being all... I mean, I guess they're not, like, trying to intimidate them, but they're just being intimidating because it's a hockey team.
Well, the one guy, like, charges Yule.
Oh, yeah.
And then Yule, like, knocks
straight arms him.
But then, like, when he's like, oh, he walks away and he falls. But I thought that was so cool, because he didn't even budge. He's just like this tank. Doris sees the Swiss team and falls in love with them. Like, straight up in love.
He just kind of starts idolizing them to an extent.
Cuts to them going into a garage where all the sleds are. And they see the Swiss sled. And Sanka's like, Schweiss? And Doris is like, no, it's Swiss. You know?
Yes.
Then they reveal their own sled, and it is janky AF. Like, there's duct tape on it. Like, it's all rickety. And then it cuts to practice runs.
I wrote busted, rusted, broke. And then I put that Leon was, or not Leon. Doris is like, shh, she's beautiful.
Yeah, he's happy regardless.
Yeah, he's just happy to be there.
Happy to be here. They bring the sled to the starting line for the first time.
Sorry, I put, we Germans, Russians, enter Jamaica, all the white people, of course.
What?
I was just about to be like, were you smoking weed? But I know you were.
all day, every day. So...
Yeah, but everybody...
It's
everybody,
silence.
Yeah, everybody's staring as they're walking up with their sad, their sad sled.
Yeah, and they're setting up, getting into the sled, because Irv is just going to push him off for this practice run. And then German jerk,
asshole German.
Asshole German. German jerk, asshole German. And he's just trying to intimidate. Yeah, he's like, why don't you're going to put training wheels on it. And Irv's like, yeah, don't listen to them. They're putting on their helmet. Sanka's like, I can't get it on. And, like, Irv, like, bonks it down. And the German jerk's like, oh, you're going to tuck them into? And Sanka asks Yule if he wants to kiss the lucky egg.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I love Sanka and his egg.
Mm-hmm.
I have a fun fact about Sanka and his egg later.
Okay.
Or I could just say it now.
Sure.
He still has it.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. It's a plastic egg, obviously. But he's still, like, the actor still has the egg.
That's perfect.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
And it just makes me so happy. I don't know why I love Sanka and his eggs so much.
Oh, he is the best. He's the best part of this movie.
Yeah, definitely great comic relief. Because Sanka's the brakeman, so he's in the back. Irv is about to push them down, and he's like, hey, coach, I gotta go pee. And Irv's like, yeah, it's too late for that. And he, like, pushes them off, and Sanka's, like, turning around like, coach, no, stop. And then, as they're going, he's just screaming the whole time. And he's like, Doris, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And then Doris this is his first time driving this sled. So they crash in the tunnel. Sanka, you dead? Yeah, man. And then he's like, well, at least you can go pee now. And Sanka's like, well, too late for that.
Legit, though, like, I'm pretty sure I've heard that the back of the bobsled gets the most G-force.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah. And then, like, what he has to do to brake, that he has to, like, kind of sit up. Like, I noticed that when they're breaking, they, like, sit up and then sit back down.
Huh.
So I wonder... he's very... You know what?
He's sassy today.
He is. He's
over at the gate.
Does he want to go outside? Does he go outside at all?
He has recently been, like, exploring the laundry room.
Oh.
So, like, you come to the gate and you, like, open it up and he tries to escape so you can go climb into all the junk pile.
Oh.
Come here.
So then it cuts to Sanka, Yule, and Junior in a hotel room, and Sanka's cooking fried bananas on hot plate, and Yule's like, they smell like a dog, get him out of here. That's when Yule gives this big speech about what he wants and where he wants to go, all that stuff, and how determined he is. And he shows Sanka a picture of where he wants to live, and Sanka starts laughing at him because it's a picture of Buckingham Palace. So Yule gets really discouraged and crumbles up the picture. Because then Sanka's like, you're just going to be another person working at the dockyard, never getting out of Jamaica, sort of thing. And Yule sadly walks away. But then that's when Junior stands up for him and talks about how his father started out in a poor hut, but made it, like, and now his dad's rich. So he's like, why can't Yul Brenner? And he's like, if there were more people like Yul Brenner in this world, you know, we would be a lot better off. Junior is so sweet to Yule. He, like, picks up the picture and he's like, go get your palace.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Next day at practice. Sanka's still cold.
Yeah, Sanka's still cold. He's got a...
I'm freezing my royal Rastafarian mayonnaise off.
He's got a hot water.
Oh, God.
It's funny because, like, Irv is like, give that to me, and he just, like, tosses it. Like, the hot water thing.
And I wrote, he gets the helmet smack.
Yep. So, this is when they push off for the fart time.
They're doing their first running start.
Yeah, their first running start. Disaster. They can't get in. They fall over the track. Kurt the fuck is standing there with a photographer. And of
they
course,
lose the sled.
They lose it and they fall.
Gone.
And that's when Kurt's like, no. And then they take all these pictures and it shows up in the newspaper in Jamaica. And Junior's dad sees it and figures out that he's not in Miami and he lied to them. Then, after that, Larry. Larry comes in. He was former associate of Irv. He's the one that's like, Jesus, Irv, what'd you do to yourself?
Wasn't he one of his old teammates?
Yeah, old teammates. I wasn't sure. But yeah, old teammates. He comes and talks to Doris. And Doris is like, we have a good coach. And Larry says, you know, Irv is the one holding you down. And that's when we found out that Irv cheated in the Olympics. He weighted his sled. He put weights in the front of his sled and had his gold medals taken away. And then
boys are getting ready to go to the bar.
Boys are going out. Junior gets a telegram from his dad saying he has to go home. And Yule's like, whatever, we're going out. Because they go to this, like, really country bar.
Have you guys ever seen Fright Night?
No.
No? Oh,
no.
God damn it. Anyway, Billy Zane's in it. And he gets to say
is that
this
with
thing.
the vampires?
Yeah.
And then they do, like, the thing in the door?
Yes.
I have seen it once when I was little.
And he's
and he, like, sticks his hand down someone's throat.
Yeah. And he's all like, you hold down. What was it? Shit. I wrote, you ho-dunk, po-dunk, well then there, motherfuckers. He says that.
Wow.
So I wrote, they all find themselves at some kind of ho-dunk, po-dunk, well then there's square dance shit.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I wrote, Calgary. What? Is Calgary country? Or is it just like a theme bar?
Yeah. I mean, I guess there is, like, country everywhere. Everyone's line dancing.
Everybody
reminded
seems to
me-
be getting down with it.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's stoked to be there. I used to line dance at dances. The boot scoot and boogie.
I went line dancing and country western swing dancing for like a good year, weekly. I was pretty damn good. I can't remember much of it anymore, but they're at the country bar, line dancing, and I wrote, Sanka is adorable.
Yeah. I say he's getting down.
I wrote, he's totally dancing his heart out.
And Yule and Junior are bonding.
Yeah. They're talking about what he's gonna do about his dad, and Yule's like, you're here, like, you don't, and Junior, like, kind of hits his beer stein. He's like, I don't know what to do. And then stupid German jerk says something. I can't remember, like, what he says.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but I do just have that he starts, like, egging them on and insulting them.
Yeah, and,
They tell him, go back to where he came from.
And leave the bobsledding to the real men. And Junior's like, I am mad, but he crumbles, and Yule stands up, and then Yule just like yanks Junior to the bathroom. And I love this part.
It's the mirror scene.
Yule says, look in the mirror and tell me what you see. I see Junior.
You want to know what I see?
Yeah. I see pride. I see power. I see a badass mother who don't take no crap off of nobody.
Yeah.
And he like makes him say it over and over and over and over. And Junior says it. He gets confident, storms out of the bathroom, walks up to the German guy, says, you can't talk to me like that. German jerk starts pushing him down, and that's when Yule comes and just punches him right in the face.
Yeah.
And then I wrote bar fight, and it cuts to Sanka figured out the line dancing, and not only that, but he switched hats with the country girl next to him.
Oh gosh.
I think the song is just like,
he's the best.
I know.
Yeah, he's the best.
He sees them fighting and he jumps in saying, Yippee-ki-yay!
And then it cuts to Doris lecturing them about the fight. Irv comes in and he's like, the bar's not going to press charges because I told them that they're all mentally disturbed. And Irv, like, really lays into them. He's like, they hate me, they hate you, and you're just proving everyone right. He's like, you need to get your butts whipped into shape and all that stuff.
I put that in this scene, this is the first time that Doris is kind of telling them about the Swiss team and comparing them to the Swiss team.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember who it is, if it's Irv or if it's Doris, where they're just kind of starting to view the bar fight and everything as them finally kind of working together as a team and caring about each other. I don't know if that was a real thing or if I just thought it while I was watching the movie.
I mean, they are acting as a team in the fight.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they're all, like, giggling with each other. So.
Causing mischief.
When do they say this in that scene? I have the quote, you don't see the Swiss team smiling neither. They come across a pretty girl, they eins wide tray and try to push her down some ice.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so good.
And then it cuts to Irv sleeping, and they wake him up early for butt whipping time.
Rise and shine, it's butt whipping time!
And we get another training montage. And I like all the things that they do where they're like pushing up the leg press. And it goes like Darius, Yule, Junior, and then Sanka is like totally.
He can't do anything. He's just a limp noodle.
I know. And like the whole pull-ups. And I wrote, Sanka does pull-ups like I do. And they're getting there, they're trying.
I wrote that this is where they do the famous, like, practice in bathtub scene.
Oh, yeah, they do.
They're
like
trying their
doing
turns.
Turn 1, turn 2.
Yeah, like right, straight, left, yeah. And then it's qualifying trial night.
Oh, the next part is when they get their uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he reveals their uniforms.
Yeah, so, yeah, he's like, I thought, I wanted to save this for the Olympics, but might as well, we gotta convince them that we're a real team. So they get these, like, nice uniforms, shiny helmets.
So nice.
So nice.
Sanka says, "Oh, freeze in this," which I think that too. Why would they wear such thin, tight suits in the face?
I think it's just, you're running, and then you're in this sled with...
Yeah.
But it's a quick sprint.
But it's also, like, compressive, too. So I would assume that would have something to do with it, too.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be, like, kind of like the purpose of a wetsuit, like how it's, like, specially made to
like
do
the type
something.
Of material.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get down with that then.
Hell yeah.
And Irv goes to talk to the judges, and one judge is replaced by Kurt the Fuck.
Mm-hmm. That guy.
Yeah. They changed the qualifying time to a minute or under because of the Olympics Association, whatever. Mm-hmm. Team looks good.
They're counting like the Swiss.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been, like, watching them, and I'm assuming it's Doris, like, telling them to count in, I think it's German.
Yeah. I think he's the only one that's even saying it.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, really?
At that
that
time.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
And they actually did a slow start. It took 6.13 to get into the sled, which is slow.
But the run looks really good. Irv is freaking everyone out in the box with his yelling. And it's a really good run, and then they take off their helmets to look back, and they get 59.46 seconds, and that's fucking awesome. And then
59!
He's like, you know what, I gotta go, I'm sorry, I'll leave, and Kurt the Fuck is all mad, So next scene is them cheering with some sodas, and they fix up the sled.
It's a damn good paint job.
Yeah. It looks really good.
I like their naming process.
Tallulah.
Sounds like a $2 hooker.
It's
my mom's name.
And they're like, oh, that's a pretty name.
Yeah, beautiful
name. Doris comes up with the name Cool Runnings.
Mm-hmm.
It means peace be the journey. And everyone loves it. Then they're like, yay for Cool Runnings, yay for us, yay for... And then a messenger walks up.
Cheers to the man in the orange suit.
Cheers to the messenger. But it's a letter informing them that they've been disqualified because they changed the policy to where they have to compete in at least one international race. And Irv storms in, and they tell him that, and he's like, but in an Olympic year, the Olympic is counted as an international race. But they're like, well, we changed the rules. We have to do what's best for the games. And then also a snooty guy talks about potential embarrassment. And Irv's like, oh, I didn't realize that 4 black guys in a bobsled could make you blush.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have here that, oh gosh, all due to concern for embarrassment because they're a bunch of cold, shitty white folk.
Exactly. And then Irv gives a great monologue. He talks about his cheating. He points to Kurt. He's like, I let down my coach. And so that's what you see why he just completely ignored him the first time we see Kurt. Why he's why he's acting the way that he is. He gives a great monologue about how it's the greatest honor an athlete can have to walk in there with their flag and represent their country. Then,
don't do it to the guys. They earned it.
Yeah. He's like, hate me all you want. Disqualify me. Make me leave. But don't do it to my guys, And then it cuts to phone ringing. And I wrote, are they or aren't they? And then they are. They are.
I love how he answers the phone and he's all solemn having this conversation. It's like, all right, thanks, bye. He hangs up the phone. And then they're all looking at Irv and they're just like, well, what did he say? What happened? And then he's like, oh, well, we're back in.
Yeah.
And then they all freak out.
I wrote, fake out.
I know. It cuts to the town. They're all gathered in a restaurant of sorts, watching the opening ceremonies of the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary, Canada.
Good year.
Good year. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
I wrote, going into Olympic land.
yeah. Oh yeah, going into Olympic land. We couldn't figure out
the Olympic Village.
Yeah, Olympic Village. But it wasn't until I was doing my research that I was like, oh, it's the Olympic Village. And Courtney's like, I like Olympic land better. I do too. So I put that in my notes, Olympic land.
Yes.
But yeah, so they move into Olympic land. It cuts to Irv sitting there, and he's like, I've never been good for win one for the Gipper speeches. I'm not good at that, so I'll lead you with a psalm of inspiration. Did you write this down?
I did. Yes. Our Father, who art in Calgary, bobsled be thy name, thy kingdom come, gold medals won, on earth as it is in turn 7, with liberty and justice for Jamaica and Haile Selassie, which I looked up, and that's the Emperor of Ethiopia from 1930 to 1979.
They're all just...
I'm so glad you wrote that down. Did you write it down too? I had written it down, but I was tired, and so I was like trying to read my notes and like type them up on my laptop, and I was like, what the fuck did I write?
It's your abbreviations just don't make sense.
So I'm like, I'm sure someone will have written it down.
Yeah. But I like it when they put their hands in. Instead of like saying go team, they just say respect.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. Then they're celebrating. Junior's dad comes to get him, and the dad doesn't give a shit that his son is in the Olympics. He's living in Olympic land.
Olympic land.
Yeah.
But the team needs me.
Yeah, and he's just like not supportive at all, you know? And he's like, go get your stuff, I'll be waiting in the lobby. And as the elevator door is closing, Junior looks into the mirror behind his dad, and he's like, pride and power, you know? And so finally he opens it, you know, puts his hand in front of the door, and he stands up to his dad.
I wrote down what the dad said. Essentially, he was like, Father, what do you see? And the dad goes, a lost little boy who is lucky to have a father who knows what's best for him.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's like, come the fuck on.
Where he's like, I'm not a lost little boy. I'm a man. I'm an Olympian, you know?
Yeah. And I am staying.
And Yule says, you a badass mother.
Yeah. And then I wrote, Yule and Junior BFFs.
BFFs.
And then it goes to starting day. So the little kids are like writing all the countries on the blackboard. And I wrote, just realized why they wrote East Germany. The Berlin Wall was still up.
I like the announcers. It like pans in on the announcers. Oh, Canada indeed.
Oh, yes.
And it pans to Sango warming up his hands. I'm feeling very Olympic today.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh.
Doris is like, that's how the Swiss do it. And Sango says, they also make pocket knives, but you don't see me doing that.
Yeah, because that's when Doris sees them like hitting helmets.
Mm-hmm. And then they count off like the Swiss again.
Yeah. God. And it is time for their first run, and it is rough.
Mm-hmm.
A disaster all around. They can't get in when they're like going down the hill. And I don't know if it was Junior or Yule, it was like someone in the middle. they just like could not get in.
Yeah.
And they're like on their way. And then they finally get in, and then they're just all over the place. Their heads are bobbing.
They're like slamming against the sides. And just like
the announcers are like, oh my, they look like like rag dolls in there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Woof, they do not do well.
No.
Irvs does the coach thing. He's like, you guys blew it. You were there and you blew it. You were ready and you blew it. You know? And
choked.
Yeah, you choked. Then Irv storms out, and Doris is like, you know, the Swifts, and everyone, the rest of the team's like, oh God, leave it with the Swiss, you know? Sanka calls Doris out about the Swiss, and I didn't write down the monologue that he gave. Did anyone?
I don't remember the monologue, but their conversation, Sanka's just like, we aren't the Swiss, and we have to have our own style. We do have our own style. And then Doris is like, kissing an egg is no kind of style.
And this isn't pushcart derby.
Yeah.
And when he... Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, Sanka is like, I didn't come to forget who I am and where I came from. And Doris is, neither did I. I'm just trying to be the best that I can be. And Sanka says, the best I can be is Jamaican.
Yeah.
So we better bobsled Jamaican.
Yeah,
he's
we
like,
better fucking do it.
Yeah.
We look Jamaican, if we walk Jamaican, and is Jamaican, then we better bobsled Jamaican.
Yeah.
And the thing that breaks my heart in this scene is when Doris is like, this is the Olympics, it's not some stupid pushcart derby, like Sanka's face. But he doesn't, he just has a super sad face.
I was gonna say, it clearly means a lot to him.
Yeah.
Like, just the pushcart stuff, like, yeah, he was, like, just doing pushcart, like, races with a bunch of little kids, but it was something that he cares about, and to have his best friend fucking shoot it down, that sucks.
That was his thing.
Yeah, and the look on his face is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It is. They all kind of have a moment of reflection, especially Doris, because, you know, he is trying to be a lot like the Swiss. And
so then they're coming up to the hill.
Oh, so they come up to the hill, and they're singing, you know, nobody, they say they can't believe Jamaica has
they got a bobsled too.
But then they do their own push-off.
They do the famous feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up, it's bobsled time, cool running.
Yes.
And the second run is fucking awesome. The announcers are
flabbergasted.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it was overnight. They got their shit together. Great run. They got a really good time.
56.53. Ranked 8th place.
Yeah, they jumped from 28th place to 8th.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Oh, and then I wrote, Irv assaulting people out of excitement.
I mean,
that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
He like grabs, he like shakes him. And it's not the first time he's done that in this movie.
I have an off-topic story about that.
What?
I was at a Wolfpack show at Red Rocks, and there was a guy in front of me. He was high on something. Wolfpack is like this like funk fusion band from Michigan, and they're great. But, like, this dude was, like, tripping balls, and he kept turning around and, like, being like, it's too funky! Like, in my face. And at one point, he actually turned around, grabbed me by the shoulders, and just started shaking me. He's like, I can't take, it's too funky!
Oh my god.
And, like, there is a dude behind me. There's, like, this big dude, and he takes the guy's hands, he's like, she gets it, man! It's too funky! Stop fucking touching her!
Oh my
what
god.
a homie.
Seriously.
It was a good time. It was a little alarming, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been assaulted out of excitement before, so there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry if that triggered you.
No, it didn't trigger me. No, it was like the guy, I wasn't threatened by him at all. I was just like,
okay.
I'm just trying to watch the show, man.
So it was pretty much how Irv was assaulting that guy. Because it's like, he didn't mean any harm. He was just so excited.
So excited.
Rightfully so.
Ah. And then it cuts to Doris in his hotel room in the night, and he's looking at pictures of the trap and, kind of doing his little hand motions. Mm-hmm. Irv comes in, asks him if he wants to go out to dinner. Doris says no. And then he asks Irv about the cheating. Irv says this: I had to win. When you make winning your whole life, you have to keep on winning, no matter what. Doris says 2 gold medals, you had it all. Irv says a gold medal is a wonderful thing, but if you're not enough without it, you'll never be enough with it. Mm-hmm. Doris asks, how will I know if I'm enough? And you'll know.
Yeah, when you cross that finish line, you'll know.
The third run. So...
everyone has Jamaican fever!
Yeah, they got the shirts. The announcers got the shirts.
Yeah.
They're all excited. Everyone's they're a total sensation. So, they're going. And their press off was really, really good. It was beautiful.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
But also, Yule kisses.
Yeah!
He even asks him. He's like, can I kiss your lucky egg?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Seriously, he's like, give me that egg. And
give me that egg.
Finally.
Go Jams!
Go Jam. And no, the announcer's like, oh, what the heck? Go Jams! And yeah, everything's going really well. And then it keeps cutting to a bolt coming loose. And then the announcer says, man, they're looking good in this rickety old sled. And then it starts coming apart. The blade comes off, and that's when they tip over.
It lasts forever.
That's the real footage of them crashing. Yeah, and it's just forever, and everyone's just silent. It's just like...
it is insane. The last scene as they're, coming to a stop, their heads, that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's insane that they did not break their necks.
Yeah. Well, when it first tipped over, the driver's head, kind of, hits the side and goes up in, a weird way, And
it's
then,
so scary.
And then when they're coming to a stop, the driver's head is, up on the wall. Mm-hmm. And...
absolutely insane that they could walk away from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Super rough scene to watch. That's what Sanka asked Doris, you dead man. Doris is like, no. And they're right there. They see, the medics running down. And he's like, we gotta finish the race. So, crowd parts. They're carrying the sled to the finish line. And
everyone gets to participate in a real slow clap moment.
We get an authentic slow clap from German Jerk.
Yep.
And Judge Kurt.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and Judge Kurt. And then Junior sees his dad, and his dad rips open his jacket, shows him the shirt, and Precious hugging all around.
Mm-hmm. So much hugging.
And then German Jerk talks to Doris, and he's like, I'll see you in 4 years, yeah? And Doris is like, oh yeah.
The lucky egg is safe.
Oh yeah, the lucky egg is safe.
There it is.
Yule grabs Junior, and he's like, this doesn't mean I like you, but kisses him on the forehead.
Mm.
They get a picture.
I noted in that photo, they look way too good to be just having a giant crowd,
right? Yeah.
They're all
Seriously.
just normal. Hey!
Yeah.
We definitely just didn't cheat death.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh God, right?
Yeah.
And then they take a picture, and it cuts to Barrington putting the picture on his wall above the picture of Irv and Bannock.
They returned home as heroes and returned back to the Olympics as equals.
And Fiend.
Yep.
Yeah. So see, Fiend.
Amen.
And they all lived happily ever after. Amen.
So Emily's got us some behind the scene facts. So
I've got some production fun facts, and then also just some regular fun facts.
okay, lay it on us.
Stuff I'm gonna share with you right now is I got it all from a 2018 Entertainment Weekly interview with Leon, Doug E. Doug, Raul D. Lewis, Malik Yoba, and Peter Outerbridge, who is the guy who played Josef Gruhl, the shitty German guy.
The German jerk.
Yeah. Okay, I have a lot, and I'm sorry.
Is he actually German?
No.
What is he?
I think he's just American.
Really?
But he did mention, I don't think I put it in my notes, but he did actually mention in the interview that he feels like he probably pissed off a lot of Germans because he made sure that he had, like, basically, like, a bad guy cartoon German accent. He's like, I probably pissed off a lot of Germans.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he probably was also like, well, I gotta ham it up because I'm American.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
That kind of mentality.
It's a Disney movie.
And it's
villain.
a Disney movie. So, the original... The movie originally started out as a much more dramatic and heavy, like, serious sports movie. It was originally called, and I'm gonna butcher this, I'm sorry everybody, it was called Blue Maga, or, no, you know what, I'm gonna Google it. Google it. Because it's Maaga. And now it's telling me it's not even a word. That's not possible.
Maybe put Jamaican next to it.
That's a good... This saying is Tagalog.
Tagalog?
Thank you. I didn't know that that's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Tagalog. Oh, that's so much...
The national language of the Philippines.
Is that what it is?
They also speak Portuguese and Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
They've just been fucked over as a country by
big
everybody. My dad, quote, served his mission in the Philippines.
So I couldn't find it anywhere, like an actual pronunciation recording, but someone commented and was like, how is that pronounced? And they say, just like Trump pronounces MAGA, sadly.
Yikes.
So, it is MAGA. Alright, back to it. Sorry, guys.
Nope.
The movie originally started out as a much more dramatic and heavy story about just like a more serious sports movie about growing up in the slums of Kingston, and it was called Blue Maga. The script changed dramatically when they found their actors, and their chemistry between all of them made it apparent that their movie was going to take a much lighter approach.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Right. Fun fact. All these are fun facts. I shouldn't say that. Leon, Doug, and Yoba, they were all originally cast for the previous movie in 1991. But when the film kind of fell apart, producer Dawn Steele made sure to let them know that she was going to make sure that the movie was made. And then when John Turteltaub was brought on as the director, they were recast for the movie. This is a story that I really like. So, Raul Lewis, the guy who played Junior, wasn't actually, like, he never auditioned or anything like that. He was kind of an intern to the people who were working on the movie, and he was tasked with reading opposite to the people who were auditioning.
Oh.
Yeah. So that
like,
was...
Wait, no, but you.
Yeah.
That's
so
really cool.
He would read opposite to the people who were auditioning, but he would, like, give a little extra whenever there was an actor that was auditioning that he really liked, like, for the role. And so he hadn't realized that the producers and director started paying attention to him as well. He was invited to a table read with Disney executives, and before you knew it, he was in for a screen test.
That's
like,
awesome.
He kind of he was a little, like, slow on the uptake, where he was, like, invited to the table read, and he was just kind of like, oh, well, I guess I'll be, like, reading for the actors, and then, like, the executives kept, like, coming up, shaking his hand, being like, it's really great to meet you and work with you on this, and, like, he had the pages and everything of all the lines when he was taken for a screen test. And he was like, he says in the interview, he's like, I have all these papers with everybody's lines. And someone approached him and he was like, why do you have those? He's like, oh, well, I don't have all of the lines memorized. And he's like, no, you don't get it. This is a screen test. Like, you're junior.
That's crazy.
Nobody told him or something. I don't know.
That's weird. So, like, after that, I'm assuming they, like, did contracts and everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody was like, yeah, no, we really like you and we want you in this part.
Right. And it was so funny. Oh, the Jamaican Bobsled team song was actually made up by Malik Yoba. He made it up for his audition.
That's the guy who plays Yul Brennan,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
so he actually made that song up for his audition.
I want to see those tapes.
I know.
Right?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh my god.
I have a quote from him that says, I've got some Jamaican roots, and just being around Jamaican culture, I knew that every Jamaican has a song in his heart, even if he can't sing or she can't sing.
Aww.
And so that kind of, like, influenced him to like, write this little song and sing it for everybody at his audition. Raul Lewis remarks about how diverse their casting was, especially considering that when Hollywood casts black actors, they tend to go for a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
But this group was so different, and it had excellent chemistry on set and in real life, and were able to portray so well that you felt it, like, while watching the movie. That was just, like, you know, he kind of alludes to, like, they really had something super special with this entire cast.
And you can see it.
You can. You really can. I love it. Turtle Tub acknowledged the movie as a version that was, quote, in his words, shamefully loose in comparison to the real-life story.
I bet.
Yeah. He realizes as of the interview in 2018 that they would have never been able to make that movie today. But as they were working on it, they were refining the script over and over to simply make a better movie. The feeling is the same, the tone is the same, the ambition is the same, the absurdity is the same, and the main key events were the same, is what he said about it. He made sure that his actors knew that their characters were not portraying actual people as well. They all were able to meet some of the original bobsledders on the team and just kind of, like, spend time with them and get a good idea of their feelings during the time of the Winter Olympics in 1988. They all agreed that the film was inspired by the story and that their object was more to portray the essence of the film, the honor of being able to compete, and the feeling of being alienated for doing something their country's never been able to do.
So they did feel alienated in real life?
That's kind of what I got from the interview. I think Raul Lewis was talking about just, like, getting to know the bobsledders. There was kind of, like, I'm not sure if it was, like, as intense as they made it out in the movie, a certain level of, like, feeling alienated at the Winter Olympics in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't typically see the Jamaican team in the Winter Olympics.
Exactly.
Okay. When they were training on the bobsleds and everything, because of the film's insurance and everything, they weren't allowed to actually go down a track in a bobsled by themselves. So they had to have, like, actual bobsledder people who, like, do bobsledding in the sled with them. They just never showed them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So they were just somebody that kept their head down.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Like that
Yeah. But they learned how to push off and jump into the sled. They did that a ton.
Yeah.
And I remember reading that they kept getting nervous about just, like, well, what if we just end up going down the track? they were practicing, like, at the top of a track.
Yeah.
And
Does
like,
it say where it was filmed? Is it actually in Calgary?
Filming locations. Okay, yep. The film was shot in Calgary and Jamaica in February and March 1993. Shots of them going down the track in the sled are mostly up-close shots and further out shots of stunt actors. So the up-close ones are of them, but if you see any, like, further out shots that aren't ones of the crash or, like, played on TV in the movie.
Real footage.
Yeah, they're stunt actors.
Cool. Did they ever get to go, like down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could go down the track, but they just had to have a professional with them.
Okay.
But they didn't go down the track too many times, if I understand correctly. They did not film a reenactment of the crash, like you were saying earlier, but anytime shots of the crash were shown, it was actual NBC footage from the 1988 Winter Olympics of the actual.
I didn't realize that until after we watched the movie the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading this article and they were interviewing one of the guys. They were asking him, like, do you ever watch the crash footage? And he's like, well, I'm a motivational speaker, so, like, I do all the time. And so I, like, looked it up. I was like, this looks familiar. And it was in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, wait, his head did, I'm like, oh my god, like, his head did the same thing.
Yeah.
But,
That's so impressive.
Yeah, it's so accurate.
I know.
I keep writing fun fact when in actuality, this whole list is titled Fun Facts.
Emily's Fun Facts.
There is this weird tension going on between the actors because everyone was scared of the sled and nobody wanted to talk about it. Like, all the dudes were like they were all hitting the gym every day, like trying to like buff up to like look like they belong in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But like everyone was so scared of going down in the sled and no one wanted to talk about how they were scared.
Because they wanted to be macho?
Because they wanted to be macho. Like, I can't remember which one of them said it in the interview, but one of them was just like, there was this really odd, like, testosterone-filled tension between all of us.
Yeah.
And it was just like, they were saying it, like, came out when they were at the gym. Like, everybody was trying to outlift everyone.
Oh my god.
They were all just, like, secretly scared of the sled.
They were all scared of it.
I wonder if at, like, the rap party, an actor was like, okay, I have a confession to make. I was really scared.
I'm so
and everyone
terrified.
is like, oh my god, me too.
It's like, is that why you were so aggressive at the gym?
Yeah.
What of it?
Right. Okay. And so this will surprise no one. Disney was so upset about the actors' Jamaican accents and frustrated that no one would be able to understand them that they actually threatened John Turtletop's future at Disney.
What?
What the fuck?
They were just like, if you don't fix this, you're never gonna work for Disney again.
But
Sorry,
weren't they
you
all
gotta-
Jamaican?
What?
Were the actors Jamaican?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Can you turn down your accent, please? God.
Oh, it goes on.
Oh, God.
No.
But wait, there's more. These are notes from actual, like, executives that, like, the actors said that they got from, like, Disney, like, bigwigs. They wanted the actors to speak like Sebastian from The Little Mermaid.
Oh, no.
Which,
He is Jamaican.
Dougie Doug actually, well, he was saying that Sebastian's accent actually is closer to a Trinidadian accent than Jamaican. So that's just a little thing about that. Leon received a note from the executives that they wanted him to portray, and this is going to be really shitty, guys. They wanted him to portray a black Aladdin.
What?
Yeah.
I'm trying to even imagine what that's supposed to be.
I'm not sure. But he was just like, he was saying in the interview that that's what they asked of him, and he goes, Aladdin's not Jamaican.
No.
Like, what are you trying to ask me to do?
And does he even speak with an accent?
He doesn't.
No.
Yeah. Like, trying to think, I'm like, because obviously they're talking about the animated
Mm-hmm.
And like, no, that was nobody had an accent.
No. I don't know either.
That doesn't even make sense.
But Raul Lewis, he was saying that, this is a direct quote, "Sometimes we get accused of having too much accent," which I thought was weird. Which it is. It's weird. It wasn't like, oh, your accent's bad. It was like, tone that down a little bit, add a little more American in there. Especially my character, because supposedly I went to school in America. But it still makes you feel icky. But also,
I feel nauseous.
it's gross.
Yeah.
Fuck racism.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And it sucked too, because like in the interview, they were all just kind of like laughing it off, and like I understand you're probably like laughing it off because you
You're
don't
on
want
camera.
any sort of retribution from Disney, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, really, be better, Disney.
Oh.
Even though I know you probably never will. Just
They're kind of trying to
yeah.
make a step in the right direction right now, but
Yeah.
80s, 90s,
Yeah.
It
everything
was-
before those times. Look, racism is just rampant in
It
the
just
world.
needs to die.
Oh,
So those were the fun facts I got from that. And also that ending not so fun fact about Disney. But that's what I got from that interview. I also got a few other facts from 80skids.com.
hell yeah.
Yeah, they had this nice little list. A lot of it was stuff I already knew, but these are ones I definitely didn't hear about. All the cast worked together with, like, the people working on the movie to cut scenes that they found objectionable. So they were, like, given that opportunity to kind of, like, have their voice in how the movie was actually produced, which I thought was cool.
That is interesting.
One such scene was of the team building a snowman together in Canada, and at the end of building the snowman, they stick a joint in its mouth.
Like the whole, like, what you smoking?
Right. I was gonna say it then, I was like, no, save it.
Oh my god.
They all, the crew, not the crew, the actors all felt that the joke was lazy and stereotypical, and even went so far as to stage a mini protest until John Turteltaub agreed to cut it. And this is a little, as he felt,
That's your cringe voice.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. It's a cringe voice.
Yeah.
And director John Turteltaub felt that the actors were taking themselves too seriously, which, in my opinion, is a rather white guy thing to say in regards to a minority group not wanting to be viewed as stereotypes. So yeah, that's a little...
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, adding weight to your sled is actually totally legal and not cheating, and at times even encouraged to teams who cannot achieve the weight necessary to qualify in the initial trials. And I read that and I was just like,
What the fuck?
what the fuck?
Well,
Like,
if you have weight that is added that is more than the max.
oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
like I should have put that in my notes as far as the bobsled stuff, but it is a max weight that you can make.
Okay. Because the thing I read didn't say anything about that, but I'm glad that you had that info.
Double check myself, but
Yeah,
Go.
combined athlete and sled weight limits have been imposed since 1952. Today, the maximum is 630 kilograms or 1,389 pounds for a 4-man sled.
Oh, okay.
859 pounds for a 2-man sled, and 750 pounds for a 2-woman sled. So,
Okay.
yeah, so there's a max weight.
Well, that's good to know.
Whereas in the movie, they made it seem like it was like
Gold
you
taken away.
fucking embarrassment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, he was shunned by the U.S. team.
Oh, totally,
Like-
totally. And he's reminded of it, you
Right.
know, all that stuff when it's, like, a common practice.
Right.
But I'm assuming that it was like he went
Yeah.
over them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just, it kind
The
of...
verbiage that they used was
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, like, it just portrayed it as, like, something that's never done.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, as we now know, he probably just put it over that.
Exceeded the
Yeah,
maximum.
but still...
They didn't go into that
They
in the
only
movie.
said-
How inaccurate.
How inaccurate.
I am a qualified movie professional.
This children's movie is inaccurate. How
This Disney.
dare they?
How fucking dare.
Oh, guys, I have my favorite fun fact coming up. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, I'm ready.
One of the screenwriters for the movie admitted in a Reddit Ask Me Anything thread
boy.
that the original script included a comedic sex scene between Sanka and 3 Scandinavian ski bunnies.
Yeah.
Right? But you can't be having no group sex in a Disney movie,
Yeah.
so they
Sanka
cut
can
it.
get it.
He
You're
can.
right. I read that and I was like, I knew something.
That's
Something got him.
surprised me.
Uh-huh.
That was my favorite fun fact. And I'm almost done. Do you guys want to guess at any of the actors that Disney originally had on their wish list, quote unquote, for this movie?
Oh boy.
Wasn't... Go on.
I don't know.
I'm giving you the opportunity to
Oh,
guess.
Wasn't Denzel Washington
There's
one of
one.
them?
As
and-
Doris.
Huh?
As Doris.
As Doris. I heard that Tupac auditioned for a role.
I didn't read anything about that.
I read that on IMDb.
That would have been amazing.
Right?
I would have. Oh, God.
Yeah. And...
Tupac in a Disney movie?
I know.
Fuck me up.
Oh my
Amazing. Do you have any guesses, Courtney?
Let's see. No.
No? Okay, so we had Denzel Washington as Doris, Wesley Snipes as Yul Brynner,
Oh.
Eddie Murphy as Sanka,
Yes.
and Marlon Wayans as Junior.
Really?
And they also, when that original cast all declined the offer, they considered Cuba Gooding Jr. and Eric LaSalle and another guy who I don't remember why I didn't write it down. Another dude. I can't remember.
That's fantastic.
Right?
Mhm.
Eddie Murphy actually was super stoked to be in the movie. He really wanted to play Sanka, but he eventually turned down the role because everyone was being paid so little. So, and my last fun fact is I already told you Doug still has the lucky egg from the movie.
Dougie Doug. I love it. I was thinking about that, Dougie Doug, and I was like, his fucking parents. Our last name's Doug. Let's name him Doug.
Wait, I thought that was a stage
Oh,
name.
I'm
Is
sure.
that really?
I thought it was his stage name too,
Yeah,
but just
no,
your
it just-
delivery was so.
That was I
Let's
know
name
it's that's just where my mind went because
Oh, Jeffrey Wright was the other guy. That's all my facts.
those are good factoids.
Thank you. I was pretty pleased with what I found.
Little fickety facts.
Fun
Fucking-
facts
Fucking facts.
I'm a Dougie Fresh. Sorry. He was born in 1970 in Brooklyn, New York as Douglas Bourne.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Bourne with an E.
Yeah,
Like
like
Jason
Jason Bourne.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I just
No,
wanted to
no,
look that
it's
up.
good because
Let's
I'm
make
like
him
Doug.
so he did it to himself.
He did it to him. Like it's some kind of crime. You did this to yourself, Douglas Doug. I'm gonna pass it off to you, buddy.
All right. So this was kind of hard to research because there's a lot of information and portions of it are really contradicting, but I think I got it all. So my sources are InsideEdition.com, Wikipedia, Olympics.com, ABC.net, WaylandStudentPress.com, LATimes.com, Today.com, and Greensboro.com.
Woo!
I know, lots of...
Zowie.
Yeah. And the article I got from LA Times is from February of 1988. So I thought that was cool to kind of get like... But yeah, so it all started in 1987 when two American businessmen, George Fitch and William Maloney, they were living in Jamaica. They were watching a local pushcart derby and were like, this could be bobsledding. So they presented it to the Jamaican Olympic Association, and Fitch is quoted, you got great athletes, and a great athlete should be able to do any sport. They were like, we really think that sprinters will be really good at this. Mm-hmm. So with the support of the president of the Jamaican Olympic Association and funds from Fitch and the Jamaican Tourism Board, they set off to recruit athletes to join the team.
Nice.
Yeah, so they had funding right away. Like, everyone was, like, into it. They didn't...
Okay, so that part of the movie is totally false.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, It was not going well. No sprinters wanted to join the team. They actually went to the Jamaican Defense Force and asked for volunteers. In October of 1987, Captain Dudley Tall Stokes, Lieutenant Devin Harris, Private Michael White, and a civilian Samuel Clayton became the first ever Jamaican bobsled team.
Huh.
What?
Yeah, so they were soldiers.
That's really interesting.
So they didn't go for, like, the Olympians.
They tried to, but none of the sprinters wanted to.
They were like, that's a joke.
Yeah. And Devin Harris, it said that he was a middle distance runner.
Okay.
But they were in the army. I read an article with Dudley Tal Stokes, and he said that it was just like, my commanding officer told me to do it, so I did it.
Okay.
That's an order.
Right? Huh? Yeah. And
go be a bobsledder.
Make our country proud, son.
Exactly.
Could you imagine if it was just like, you're no good with a gun.
Go
throw yourself down an icy hill.
Oh my god. They were coached by Howard Siler, and he was American. But later, 20-year-old Patrick Brown was also added to the coaching staff.
Were either of them bookies?
No.
Oh,
I know.
This movie is a lie.
I know.
All the inconsistency.
I saw,
Inconsistent.
I saw this article, like a common search, it was like, did Howard Siler cheat in the Olympics? It's like, no. No.
So the only accurate thing in the movie is the fact that it was weird that Jamaicans were doing bobsledding and they were kind of alienated, and
the coach was American,
and they wanted sprinters. They got soldiers.
Yeah.
God,
that's
so very
interesting,
right?
It's a whole story. It's all just a story. I feel let down.
God damn you, Disney.
Well, I said too, like from the interview, that they were just like, the script went through so many changes.
I bet.
Yeah.
Because it was Disney. They were trying to make they were trying to put across the feeling of bringing pride to your country, to the Olympics, and the honor of being allowed to compete and all this other stuff, and they were just like, it was not anything like the real story.
Yeah, I know. Like, researching this, I was like, I mean, it's still a great story, but it's just like, oh, okay.
There's a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So, none of them had ever seen a bobsled before, though. Devin Harris said, "That's crazy. You'll never get me on one of those things." But they all saw how amazing of an opportunity it was, and how they can like really change things in, especially for the Winter Olympics, getting Jamaica involved in more Olympic sports.
Was Jamaica in any winter sports?
Oh, I don't think so.
Was that their first Winter Olympics ever?
I was gonna say, I mean, it's the movie, and the movie's not terribly accurate,
Right.
but like they're the Mr. Coolidge. I forget what his first name was.
Barrington Coolidge.
Barrington Coolidge. He was just like, practice your cycling or your boxing because those are the only things that Jamaica competes in.
Yeah. Everything that I was reading I got the impression that they weren't involved in any winter sports.
Yeah,
so.
There's no ice in Jamaica.
Exactly.
So hard to practice ice skating.
Yeah,
exactly.
Skiing.
Kind of holds
Yeah,
you back a
bobsledding,
little bit.
yeah. Unfortunately, the team did not practice their push starts down a mountain. They practiced their push starts on a flat surface at a military base in Jamaica. It's next to the barracks.
Could you
What?
imagine seeing that?
Yeah, and
Just like all the army dudes are just like, we gotta go to fucking war and you get to
yeah,
ride in a sled.
yeah, and they did have a makeshift sled, but it was like it wasn't anything that they could sit in. It was just designed for pushing.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
So they didn't
That's
hop in.
interesting.
Yeah,
So kind of like in football when they're like pushing.
exactly.
Okay.
I wonder
Yeah.
if they tried to make it at least the same type of weight that it would be comparable weight
Yeah.
to a sled.
It would definitely have to be weighted down for sure.
Yeah, like I saw a picture of it, and it is with like heavy bars.
Oh, okay.
Like but it was like an outline of a sled
Okay.
with metal.
Cool.
A fake 1,000-pound sled.
So this isn't a very good picture of it, but this is the bobsled team and the makeshift sled, the thing that they were pushing,
Oh, okay. Oh, that looks fun.
right?
Huh. Why wouldn't they do it on a hill? Was that just so unsafe?
Yeah, it just didn't make sense because they were pushing,
Just a- And a frame, essentially.
yeah, like they weren't gonna go down in a rickety old wagon, and they were just getting the push start, like, because when you're starting, it's flat, but yeah, they never were actually in a bobsled until they went to Lake Placid, New York. And then I wanted to show you guys this picture of these hunks. So this is bobsledders Michael White, Dudley Stokes, Devin Harris, and Frederick Hunks.
Wowie zowie. Well, shit.
I know, right?
Okay,
Fucking
okay.
stud muffins.
Okay.
Whoa! Damn, dudes! They
You
are
should post
military
that
men.
picture along with.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're gonna. You all will get to see it.
Oh,
I can't with the guy that has his leg up. And
Yeah.
he's wearing the
Mhm,
short shorts.
mhm,
Wow,
mhm,
look at that
mhm.
quad.
Right? I know. Total hunks.
Hunks.
Huh. So the team practiced this for 3 hours a day, and a month after the team was assembled,
Assemble!
they set off to Lake Placid, New York to start practicing on ice.
That is a really popular place for bobsledding. They actually
Really?
have a lot of facts that are contradicting,
Yeah.
saying that it was also developed in Lake Placid.
Yeah. It's like a main training hub.
What was it, like Switzerland? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of it developed in Placid, Lake Placid. But yeah, there was like an article saying that it was invented in both Switzerland
Oh.
and Lake Placid. And I'm
Okay.
like, that's...
I wonder if it was like invented in one place and popularized in another.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff that I read is like Lake Placid is a hub, a main hub of training.
Okay.
Mhm. And now it's Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
Or excuse me, Park City.
Yeah, the Olympic Oval.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You know,
They do greatest snow on earth. Unlike the movie, only 2 of the 5-man team had never seen snow before. Devin Harris, I already talked to you guys about this, but Devin Harris was actually stationed in the UK where he met snow. And that's when he said it. It punched me in the face and in my heart. But
in my heart.
But it's true, none of them had ever seen a bobsled before.
It really does punch you in the face.
It does.
Oh my god.
Especially when
Rough
it's like
stuff.
cold, like getting close to the negatives.
It's even worse if you have, like, the humidity. And we talked about the being, like, the most dad thing you can say. It's like, it's a dry heat. It really is, like, the humidity makes cold so much worse. Like, back east, there's so much, the humidity is awful. And so, like, if it's 30 degrees here in Colorado, like, I can walk around outside with, like, a hoodie on. If it's 30 degrees in Pennsylvania, you need to make sure all of your skin is covered.
Oh my god.
Because it's just gonna hurt.
Yeah.
It just goes straight to your bones.
Yeah. Go
'Cause it's
straight
like-
to your bones.
The humidity in the air is frozen.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
The team went on to train in Austria, Calgary, and then back to Lake Placid and picked up 2 more players, Freddy Powell and Casewell Allen. They completed a few minor events, a World Cup in Austria. So they did compete in events leading up to the Olympics.
Even international ones,
Yeah.
too.
And they were actually only doing the 2-man bobsled.
Mhm.
So that's all that they were practicing with. And that's what they were competing as. In the World Cup in Austria, they placed 34th and 36 out of 41 teams in the 2-man events. In 1988, they finally arrived in Calgary, Canada for the Winter Olympics, where they became an instant sensation. Everyone was, like, obsessed with them.
Okay.
Like, I read that they couldn't really leave Olympic Village without getting, like, swarmed by people.
Wow. That's
And
cool.
That is cool.
And,
That's,
like-
way different than... That's awesome.
The teams all welcomed them in. Also, like, one team let them borrow a sled so they could qualify for the 4-man event.
Okay. So
so-
nothing at all. Like,
Yeah. And, like, Canada let them borrow, and it was a practice sled, and Jamaica was able to, like, paint it, you know.
Okay.
So everyone was just, like, super stoked for them to be there.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I like that.
Mhm. Freddie acted kind of like a publicist for the team. Like, although he was on the team, I didn't really read much of him, like, you know, competing, because there's a lot of, like, backups. So because they were doing two-man events.
Mhm.
So, like, but they had obviously
Right.
backups, yeah. And it said that during the open ceremonies, there was like 10 people walking with them.
Oh.
So Freddie acted as a publicist, selling shirts which depicted 2 Rastafarians bobsledding through a grove of palm trees, saying, "The hottest thing on ice."
That's great.
And
That's
singing
great.
a song called Hobbin' and Bobbin', or also known as the Jamaican Bobsled theme song. Look it up. It's so
Is
fun.
it great?
Yeah.
Oh.
During the Olympics, Devin Harris and Dudley Stoke competed in the 2-man events and placed 30th overall. 2 weeks into the Olympics, the team decided to enter the 4-man event.
2 weeks in,
Yep.
Damn.
they were just playing around on other people's
Well-
4-mans, and they're like, we could do this.
Well, yeah, well, they were saying, like, in an interview, Devin Harris was like, we could all get medals, so let's do it. you
Yeah.
know? And everyone's like, why not? We're already here.
I've already been doing it in pairs, so why not?
Yeah, why not? And after Caswell, it's either Caswell or Casewell, Allen injured himself, they scrambled to find another player. Dudley Stokes' little brother, Chris Stokes, was at the Olympics to support his brother.
Oh.
He was going to college in the States on a track scholarship.
Huh.
And they were like, hey, you're a sprinter, right? come and join our team.
Yes!
Oh my god.
That's excellent.
Did he do good?
Yeah, so they said, Devin Harris said in an interview, we taught him everything we knew in 3 days. We didn't know much, so 3 days is all we needed.
I love that.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't know much. So
Yeah,
all we
so
needed was
I know.
3
So he was just pulled in to the Olympics.
That's badass.
right?
Oh my
So
God.
cool. In the 4-man events, their first run, they had a time of 58:04 seconds. In the second run, they had a time of 59.37 seconds. And in the infamous third run, they had a time of 1:03. So in the first run, the team started off really strong. They had the 7th fastest start time, and the first and second runs were good. And the third run started off really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
At an earlier practice, Dudley Stokes had injured his shoulder, and Dudley Stokes is the driver, but he decided to continue with the race anyway.
What?
But then Dudley Stokes lost control of the sled, and it rolled onto its side, and they slid down the rest of the way. As we've seen in the movie, they stopped short of the finish line, and they all got out and pushed their sled to the finish while the crowd heartily cheered them on.
Oh, I'm glad to know that, I was reading one part where they were just like, there's no way that anybody could actually carry a bobsled, especially after crashing.
Yeah.
But I'm
Exactly.
glad that it's like, they pushed it, and that
Mhm.
part of it was like, because that's such a
Yeah.
great part of the movie.
It is. And they all, none of them were seriously
amazing,
injured.
I mean.
You know, they were all up walking, pushing their sled.
That's nuts.
It's crazy.
And it, in the footage of the crash, when it's all done and the medics are running towards them, one of the medics
slips. Yeah.
Stop
and
it.
falls.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
They
And
send
then,
like the
another-
last person
Yeah.
in line, so you have the perfect shot of them just biffing it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. And then
I'm
they
sorry
sound
to
out.
the person who that is. I hope
Yeah.
you never listen to this and have to relive that event.
right, yeah.
Did they send out another medic to take care of that guy?
No.
Poor
I
guy.
think it was a lady.
Poor lady.
I know. Poor human.
Poor
So
human.
embarrassing. Ice is dangerous.
Yeah, ice is scary.
So in an interview with Devin Harris, he commented on the crash, and this is what he said. I remember as we exited corner 8, we hit the wall, which is never a good thing. But in my head, I'm like, okay, we have a long straightaway before 8 and 9, so we'll be fine. So then we hit the wall again, which is definitely not good. So I expected us to wave, which we did. When you look in the footage, you can see the sled going in and out of the camera frame, and the next thing I knew, we were on our heads, and I'm thinking, oh my god, we're over. How embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
No.
Not, oh my god, my head is about to fall off.
Right?
Oh
Yeah,
God, we're all
they
gonna
said,
die.
Yeah, they said that they were just more embarrassed because of
Yeah, it's a big crash.
Yeah.
it's a big crash. You know, people were doubtful,
It's the
Yeah.
first
Mhm.
ever Jamaican
Yeah.
bobsled team.
and
you know. I'm sure that there were plenty of people who wanted to see them fail.
Yeah.
Mhm. He went on to say, when you're in a crash, there's not much you can do. You just have to go for the ride. It's an interesting experience because you just see flashes of white that's going by and you hear the sled scraping on ice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a horrible sound in your ear, and then you smell the burning of fiberglass. A sled is very small. The 4 of you are in very confined space, so if you panic, you make it worse, so you just have to lay there, wait till it comes to an end.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Also, he said, we just crashed in front of the entire world, and I think in my head, we're giving credence to all our detractors. All the people who felt that we did not belong, we just proved them right. So that pissed us off. We also felt badly because we felt that we had let down an entire nation And that's a lot to be on anybody's shoulders.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
And
Well, that's
then-
kind of what I was trying to say earlier, where it's just like, I'm sure there were plenty of people who wanted to see them fail, and that must have felt like fucking shit.
Yeah, and he says, like, wow, your nation is depending on you, and here you are on international TV, making a fool of yourself and your country. But people back home were really supportive, unbelievably so, to the point where the government made stamps with our faces on
Oh, wow.
Wow!
That's awesome.
it. Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
So they did adapt the German timing thing, but they made it their own. They didn't have like the whole like feel the rhythm, but they did have something that
was
they made it their own. So they were not able to finish their last run, so they didn't place in the 4-man, but they all went on to compete into the 92, 94, and I think the 98 Olympics.
Okay.
Freddy Powell quit
Bobsledding.
Blobsetting.
Blobsledding.
I want to make a shirt that says blobsetting.
Yes.
Bobsledding. That'll be like in our merch store, Bobsledding.
Yes. Yes, please.
It'll just be our faces going down the bobsled. Freddie Powell quit bobsledding after the 88 Olympics to concentrate more on the skeleton. And then I wrote, which is going down the track on a single sled head first. Eek!
Eek indeed.
Yeah. Michael White kept a low profile and is not heard from much. Chris Stokes is now the president of the Jamaican Bobsleigh Team Foundation. And Dudley Stokes and Devin Harris are motivational speakers. Harris runs the Keep On Pushing Foundation to help feed children in the impoverished areas of Jamaica. And Dudley Stokes is coaching the women's bobsled team who made their debut in the 2018 games.
Nice. That's neat.
I'm excited to keep an eye on the Jamaican bobsled teams during the Winter Olympics.
Yeah. Now that we learned so much.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the story of the first ever Jamaican bobsled team. Once you're a jet all your life, from the first cigarette to the day that you die. Okay, should we do some Oreos and?
Yes.
We got Oreos and Cholula. Should we just like put Cholula
What happened?
on the inside?
I was
What have you done?
strong
You
for
got-
my Oreo.
Those guys being
What have I
done?
Do you need a new Oreo?
I went Hulk on it.
Yeah, you went all out on that thing.
Wow.
Should we like do it on the inside?
It's so
that's
crumbly.
a good idea. Oh, okay. Mine has like a little divot.
Perfect.
Oh,
no.
wow.
Oh, God.
That's a lot.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Just kind of dab some of that off. Oh, my God.
Oh, hot sauce everywhere.
Oh, God.
Okay.
It's too funny.
That was amazing. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
We all know that I'm definitely going to make a mess.
Well, I mean, hot sauce comes out fast. You're out of your butthole, too.
I put very little on mine.
Oh,
'cause
my God.
I'm a
I
little
put
bitch
far
when
too
it comes
much,
to
so.
spicy, but it's there.
Is it? Well, I think I've probably used it all.
I'm like, oh,
Okay.
it's like a surprise how fast
Where-
it comes out.
Okay.
It's happening.
All or
folks.
nothing.
It's
I'm
happening.
nervous about this because of the vinegar content in Cholula.
Okay. All right.
So
Little bite first.
Okay.
I'm really, really quite nervous.
All right. We ready for this?
Alright, bottoms up.
I mean, we can spit it out if
Yeah.
need be.
Yeah.
We've decided
have
that that's the rule now.
Uh,
We're allowed to spit it out.
Yeah.
It's really gross.
After the barbecue sauce.
That
Oh,
was-
yeah, that was
oh,
bad.
that was punishment.
Oh, God, and I ate
like
the
this
rest
is-
of it, too, and it was just a poor decision all
I
around.
think I went in for a second one in hopes that it would suddenly taste better, and that was a bigger mistake than the first.
All right, here we go.
right,
Salud.
Salud. It's a spicy Oreo, guys.
Oh, Dana.
Yeah.
Spice and chocolate is not bad.
It's not
I
bad.
was worried about the vinegar, but I think maybe I didn't put enough sauce to taste that.
I mean, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
It's actually kind of pretty alright.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Try it, folks.
Try it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
It's not like, oh my god, I can't
Yeah.
eat Oreos the same way ever again.
Like, it's
but
not- Yeah.
it's not.
I'm gonna
sour
put a
cream
little bit
good,
more
but-
on.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's not any Oreos and sour cream, but
But
I don't hate
it's
it.
not bad.
I'm not a hot sauce person.
Really?
Mm-mm.
I know it's like you can taste it at first, but then it like starts to blend in with the
Mhm.
Oreo.
It's
Okay,
like-
just put a little bit more on. What?
Sorry. Just watching you do it, and then it's just like a little drip, like a perfect.
I did good!
You did do good.
So good.
It's just so fucking cute, you little bitch.
Stop being so fucking adorable.
Jesus.
You guys just... Ooh, I know what
Bro,
taste this is giving me now.
Hmm.
So I did some more of the hot sauce, and it makes me think of those, those Mexican lollipops, where it's like the mango and the
And
chili.
the chili.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it's making me think of, like
Yeah.
a sweet and spicy,
I
Yeah.
can dig it.
something like that.
Yeah. It's not bad. Y'all.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I've never looked at Cholula this way, but it is like that salt, the candy salt.
What's candy salt?
Oh,
Like, those are two
It's-
different,
okay.
very different
Okay,
things.
so
Isn't
Lucas. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's like
I
a
know what you're talking
I want
about.
to
yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I so
I want
yeah.
some of that.
I haven't had it in a long time, but that makes me think of it.
Yeah. It's not bad. I give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5.5 I think is a fair score.
5.5. Anyways,
Indeed. You heard it here, folks.
you heard it here.
You heard it here
folks.
first.
Where can you find us?
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
to us. Please rate, review, and subscribe if you care to. Even if you don't care to, we love to hear from you. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Come follow us on Instagram at Inspired by Movies. You can find us on Twitter at inspiredby_pod. And then you can also email us if you have any movie suggestions or Oreo and suggestions, or if you have any other, if you want to praise us. Do you want to tell us how beautiful we are? We would love that.
I mean, if you wanted to tell us how much we suck, that's fine. But you know what?
Constructive.
So if you're gonna be mean, don't be too
Yeah.
We're asking nicely.
My feelings will get hurt. I'm very sensitive.
If you want to email us for any reason at all, you can email us at inspiredbythepodcast@gmail.com. And as Courtney's junior high vice principal always says,
Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. Goodbye.
goodbye.
Goodbye.